morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Today, I'm super excited for today's video because you guys chose it. I put it on my Instagram this morning asking what I should do for today's video, and you guys all requested, or a lot of you requested, that I should make those really cool, funky clay rings. So I'm here at Michael's. I'm gonna hopefully get some clay here. Otherwise, we're gonna be going to a whole bunch of craft stores today in order to get this clay for the rings, but hopefully they just have it here. So I'm gonna go get a whole bunch of colors, and then we're gonna go home and we're gonna make some really fun rings, and I'll teach you guys how to make some because they're really hard to find on the internet. They're selling out everywhere, so let's just make some. If you can't buy them, just make them. So let's head in and see what they have here. Okay, so it's pretty picked over, but there's still a lot of colors here, and I like this clay, and this is what majority of people use just because you just pop it into the oven when you're done molding it, and then it just hardens and, you know, bake. But there's also kits, like you can see here, you can just get a kit with a whole bunch of different colors over here too, so that could be an option too. Or this one has a lot of colors. Color sampler. You don't really need much for each one, so. Okay, so I ended up getting this sampler kit because I couldn't figure out what colors I wanted, and then I got this Mod Podge gloss for the top coat. So I'm gonna open up this kit that I got now because when I was in the store, I got so overwhelmed with all the options. So I was like, I'm just gonna get a kit and get all these colors because I have no idea what colors I want. This was a little more pricey, or I don't really know if it was. It was $40 for this kit, but if you really look at the big picture, it costs $40 for like one ring, so you can make one ring and it might be worth it. I really like this granite one. Like, look at this. This one's so pretty. So before I open up any of these, I'm gonna go on Pinterest and get some inspo. So I just finished pinning a whole bunch of pins and getting some inspiration for these rings. This is the Pinterest board if you wanna go check it out after, but I feel good. I feel good. I have some ideas flowing through my head, so we can get started and we can make the first ring. So I ended up getting a little carried away, and I ended up making all of these red rings here, and then I wanted to try out doing a swirl one, so I made these two green and white ones. But now that I have the hang of it, I'm gonna teach you guys how you can make your own rings now, because I just figured out how I can make my own rings. So to make a swirl ring, if you want two different colors in there, you are gonna take a little bit of each color. I have a green and white here, and you're gonna wanna warm it up a little bit before you start mixing them together. But once they're warmed up and it's nice and soft and it's like almost like a chewed piece of gum, you can go ahead and you just like put them together. Kind of knead it, just mix it a bit. Okay, and then it should start to look kind of like this, and then once you have it at this stage, you can go ahead and roll it out like a big snake. And then you can roll it out to whatever thickness you want for this ring. So I think I'm gonna make this one a little bit chunkier. And then this is what it looks like. It's a nice green swirl. So I found the easiest way to make these rings is to just cut a certain length. Doesn't really matter what length. And then you want to kind of make it into a ring shape. And then what I like to do is I just like to layer it. So one end on top of the other like that. And then you can kind of just mix it a little bit together with your fingers, kind of pinch it and roll it together. It's pretty easy to mold this together. You shouldn't have a problem. You can make it like so you don't even see the end and the start of the, I guess, worm we used to have. And then you just want to make sure it's a nice circle. And there we go. I dropped it. And there you go. We have our first ring. And then when you place it down, you just want to make sure that it's like a nice even circle, that it's not like weirdly shaped is all. So I think I'm good with, you know, Christmas colors now, so I'm gonna move on to something a bit different. I think I wanna recreate my nails now, so I think I'm gonna do a pink and a royal blue next. Okay, let's make some rings. So here what I'm doing is I'm just cutting some of each color off, cutting them into cubes, because I'm going to be mixing it together to get like a little marble going on. So I'm putting two cubes together, mushing it all together until it looks pretty like this. And then once you have it nice and pretty, you know, nice marble look, you're going to roll it out into another worm or a snake, whichever, you know, analogy you prefer. Make it into a really skinny one. And then what I did was I just did a little tap and flatten it out until it looked like a tapeworm. But to be honest, it's actually be a really pretty tapeworm, and that actually looked like that. Like, look at that marble swirl in there. It's honestly beautiful, this tapeworm I just made. But anyways, back to the rings. The next thing I did was I just cut that long tapeworm into pieces, and then I just molded it into a ring. It's that simple. And then I kind of molded it on my finger to get the shape I wanted, and then when I was happy with it, I just put it aside, and that's how I made that ring. Next ring. Okay, so for this ring, I want it to be a little bit more inspired by my nails because the last one didn't really look my nails. It looked just more like a blue ring. So what I did was I rolled out 2 skinny pieces of each color, and then you can't really see what I'm doing here, I'm sorry, but I rolled it together until it looked like this. Does that make sense? Do you guys get it? I just put one on top of the other and then made it into a ring, and then it looked really pretty. And then I had some more leftovers, so I started to make these really skinny rings because I really do like thin rings. That's probably my go-to. So I wanted to have a little, accent to go with my other rings. And then I had this grand idea. I'm actually still pretty proud of myself that I had this idea, but I decided I wanted to make this little wave swirly thing, and then I was gonna attach this pink to it to make this really, really, really cool ring. And it's honestly my favorite one I made. Like, look at this. Look at that ring. If that doesn't match my nails, I don't know what does. So I decided I want to make some real funky, chunky rings now because most of the rings here are fairly thin. Even though I wear mostly thinner rings, I do want to make some chunky ones. So I have this pastel yellow here that I mixed together with just white and a yellow color. And I ended up making these 2 chunky rings already. I'm just going to show you how I made those. So what you're going to do is you are going to get your clay piece here, and then I just like to roll it a little bit just so you have like a slug, kind of like a slug there. And I'm just pressing it and flattening it down until it's flat. Like if you had a roller, that'd probably work best, but I don't. I guess I have to roll this. Okay, and then once you have it pretty flat here, what I do is I just cut off the edges here, and then you can just pick this away. And then you can go ahead and cut the edges so it's flat. And then you should have a piece like this. After that, you just want to fold it into a ring shape. And then you can kind of just mold those 2 edges together. And then you can see here, it's not that flat. You can see it's kind of curved there. So I just go ahead and cut it a little bit so it's nice and flat. Super, super easy, this one. You just need an X-Acto knife in order to get like a nice clean edge like that. So there's a lot of rings here. I have like 30 something rings now, and I've used like 4 colors. So I'm just gonna go at it. I'm just gonna start using all these colors and making some just fun rings. So now I think I'm gonna do like a mocha swirl. I'm gonna call this one like a mocha swirl. I have like this taupe color and this chocolate color. So I'm gonna mix these 2 together and make a super chunky ring. And I'm making a lot of rings just because I know some of them are gonna turn out terrible. They're gonna be bad. So I'm just making a whole ton. So, there's a good chance that I have some stellar ones in the mix, like a few good ones that I would actually wear all the time. Plus, it's all about just the process of making these rings. It's a fun thing to do. It's a fun craft. Okay, so now for this mocha swirl one, I think that's what I call it. But the thing I did was I mixed together brown and taupe, which you guys already saw, or chocolate and taupe, whatever color you want to call it. And then I rolled it out, made a little swirl thing, cut it out so it was like a long rectangle like so, and then I molded it together to get this super chunky, funky, monkey ring. I really hope one of you starts making clay rings and selling them, and please call your business Funky, Chunky, Monkey Rings. Okay, call that, and just give me a little credit. Okay, I came up with that name, so if you do, just let me know and give me a little credit. But next one I'm making is another swirl one, and then I realized it was kind of ugly. Yeah, it's just like and then you could see my nail marks. So one thing is, don't do this when you have long nails like me. So I fixed it by rolling it out, and then it was fixed. So you can always fix your mistakes. I guess that's more of a story. If you have like these little whatever nails, like acrylic nails, they're hard to do these rings with them. So if you go into business making these rings, make sure you never get acrylic nails. It's like almost like you're a nurse now, because nurses and people that work at McDonald's, they can't have like nice nails. Well, that's what's gonna happen to you if you get into business and start making these rings. Anyways, on another note, we're gonna do this ring, which I just used all my leftover clay, and it turned out really, really cool. What I did was I mixed it all together, the pink, yellow, and orange, and then I rolled it out, made the, you know, the long rectangle, and then smushed it together to make a ring. And then it made this really, really cool ring that honestly looked kind of like natural clay or rock. I don't know. I think it looks cool. I'm done. I'm done. Look how many rings I made. There's no way I could wear all these rings. So I think I'm gonna be done for now. And now I'm gonna pop them into the oven. But first I need to get the tray. I have my nasty tray here. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of aluminum foil down. Almost a clean cut. So now I'm gonna put all the rings obviously onto this tray, but I need to make sure that all the rings have like a nice circle, like they're not weirdly shaped. So this process I think is gonna take me a little bit just because I am a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'm gonna keep moving them and try to make them a perfect circle, but I'm excited for these rings. They look so cute. We're done. We're ready to put this in the oven, or actually I need to preheat the oven first. Something I usually don't do. Okay, so I'm gonna set it for 230. My rings are all done. Look, whoa. There's so many. Now that they're done, they're all cooked, they're all good to go. I need to put the top coat on. I need to put this Mod Podge on to make it all shiny. Like, you don't have to. If you like this look of this type of texture, it's just kind of like a matte finish, then you can just leave it like that. But I want them to be shiny, so I'm just gonna quickly paint them all. So I'm just gonna paint the outside of the rings. I'm not gonna paint the inside of the ring just because it's faster just to paint the outside. Yeah, that's it. It's just faster that I just do the outside and no one's gonna notice because the inside, you won't see when I'm wearing it. Just painting the outside. I'm mainly just painting these really thick ones just because the thin ones, I don't even know how much you'd really notice with the gloss on there, but these thick ones, it's gonna make them shiny, so it's gonna make them look really good. This is probably just really boring watching me just paint rings, so bye. I don't know if there's like a good way to show you guys all these rings. There's obviously 50 of them, so here are all the rings. I'll put some on my hand, but it's really hard to show you all of them, so I'll put my favorite ones on my hand now. Don't they look amazing? Like, can you believe that I made all of these rings? Like, personally, I am so, like, impressed first of all, but also very surprised that I was able to make this many amazing rings. I honestly thought majority of them were just gonna turn out terrible, like they were just gonna fit weird, or they just won't be like, you know, a circle, like a weird shape, and they just weren't gonna go on my fingers. But they did. They pretty much all fit in my fingers, and they actually look really good. So I'm impressed. I especially love this one right here because it matches my nails right now. But I don't think I need like 50 rings to myself. So if you guys want some of them, I'm gonna do a giveaway. I'll have it all down below in the description on how to enter, and then I'll give 3 people 2 to 3 rings, or 3 rings. I'll give 3 people 3 rings, so go enter that giveaway. Other than that, I'm gonna go eat. So have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.